This is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Drama and maybe a mistake by the Boston Celtics. 2-point game with just about 17 seconds left to go on the clock. About 3.3 second differential shot clock and game clock. They elect to play defense for the possession. They get a stop, but the rebound with just 0.3 of a second left to go.
No time was added to the clock, too.
No
we thought it might be
left.
0.7. 0.3 of a second. Celtics got to make something happen.
They attempt to go to the Valley-oop. It does not happen. And the Orlando Magic are going to cut this series deficit in half.
Not going to be a sweep.
Trail 2-1 after they get the outright win. 95-93 is your final. How about that? Good win for the Orlando Magic.
Not that surprised. I thought they could steal a game in this series. If the Celtics didn't get, there's always going to be a game where the Celtics are not that hot from three tonight. 9 for 27 from three?
Yep.
33%. I bet the Celtics win this in 5, though.
One would think.
Right.
The Celtics do have and remember, no Drew Holiday today. So that's going to be something. But if he gets healthy, right, he gets back into the series. But either way, a very good result for Orlando with one more game left. And you've mentioned it. They're a little beat up. Jaylen Brown's got this knee issue that he's been dealing with. Tatum's got the wrist. Well, maybe this is going to be a little bit more of a fight than I initially thought. I thought it was going to be a sweep.
But it's not going to be a sweep. I bet Celtics win in 5. That's what I thought before the series. I would stick with that. Bucks Pacers right now. Unfortunately for you, the Bucks are pulling away here, up 11 with a lot of time left. 11 and a half minutes to go, 86-75. Milwaukee now a 9.5-point favorite. Live line at DraftKings.
Yep. Might be cooked there, at least for the game. Wanted to point out, too, that Gary Trent Jr. is having himself a night tonight for the Milwaukee Bucks. That is the statistic that sticks out right now. For the contest, Gary Trent Jr., he was, by the way, inserted into the starting lineup today, we should note. 31 points, 9 of 14 shooting, but the most important metric, 7 of 10 from three-point range for Gary Trent Jr. He's absolutely on fire.
He shot threes better than the Celtics team did tonight.
How about this? Metric? And again, I might feel a little jaded watching this performance. The Bucks have made 10 3-point shots for the game. They have made 10 of them. Gary Trent Jr. has 7 of those 10. That's a wild card. That's
unexpected guy. Yeah,
yep.
You get that a lot in the playoffs. Be a guy you don't expect step up and win a game for you.
Yep. We were also underway early going out in Minnesota. 9:41 left to go in the first. 8-7. Timberwolves up on top of the Los Angeles Lakers. Our last game of the night in the NBA postseason. Should be a good one, and very excited for watching this. Want to get your thoughts on a couple of things. We've been watching the process of these quarterbacks, whether or not we're going to get one more here before the end of the third round. Draft, of course, resumes tomorrow. I'll ask this question first before we get to some of the specifics. Is Shedeur Sanders drafted today?
I want to say yes. I want to say he goes to the Browns or the Steelers later in this round.
Okay.
Right now we're at pick 76 of the third round. Cowboys just took cornerback Siobhan Revelle from East Carolina. So we're getting closer. Steelers picked number 86, something like that?
Mm-hmm. I'll get the number for you right now, exactly what it is, but I believe it is 86.
About within a half hour of the Steelers making their pick. Look, if what was reported was true, that
83, by the way.
Okay, if the Steelers were really talking about drafting Shedeur Sanders at number 21, how the hell do they not take him at 85?
Right.
Or 83, whatever it is. If you're really having that discussion at 21, how do you not take him in the third? Doug Kazarian tweeted this out. Don't forget, Shedeur Sanders' draft prop position opened at 3.5.
Yep.
That's the third pick, not the third round. We're going to be halfway through the third round, and Shedeur Sanders still not going to be off the board.
I mean, so again, if you go by the Polymarket odds,
point the favorite to be the number 1 overall pick.
Yep. If you go by the Polymarket odds, 27% chance he gets drafted by the Steelers. That's plus 270. So if you're in an area where you can get down on that, I mean, Steelers again are coming up here in about what are we talking? 7 picks, a little bit less. Then plus 270. It makes a lot of sense if they were going to go here. Again, because here's the thing. Again, with the Steelers, they don't have a quarterback.
Oh. Mason Rudolph?
We're in the third round right now at pick 77, and they still don't have a legitimate quarterback.
I think they got to take him
as a cornerstone, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Sanders or Jalen Monroe.
Right. Got to take Sanders, I think, in the third round. I'm trying to speak this into existence, too, because you got
Do you have something on it?
Sanders plus 550 to be picked by the Steelers.
Oh, so you do still have something. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
That's still alive.
That's absolutely insane.
I've got Milroe plus 230 to be drafted by the Browns.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm not kidding. Yesterday, if you watched ESPN, you had multiple analysts hyping up both these guys as first-round picks.
Yep. Just want to point something out really quick.
Okay, what do we got?
So my long shot bet of the baseball season, do you remember what it was?
Angels to win the
no,
division.
No. It is Angels related, but no, it was not.
Angels over the win total.
No.
Mike Trout to be MVP.
Lead the league in homers.
Okay, because Mike Trout's batting about 180, but his home run numbers are good.
He just tied the league lead with his 9th home run a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
So he is actually tied for the lead with homers, even though he is hitting below. He's hitting like around 200. This guy, the power's there. Average is not. So it has been a fascinating year for Mike Trout.
Average is going to come up eventually, but it's a good sign that he is hitting for power.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a good enough hitter that average is going to come up.
But you're also, you know who's not hitting? The Angels as a whole. They have fallen to 12-12 again. They're getting smoked by the Twins today. But Trout with the home run cuts it to 11-4. They're storming back. Also, end of the first inning in what is a very big series in the National League. Yes, there are big series, even in April. Atlanta on the road against Arizona. So we're at the end of the first inning. It is scoreless there. But the Braves had fancied themselves a contender. We're starting to carve their way back into this National League picture. Come into this winners in 5 out of the last 6. Took series against the Twins and the Cardinals. Congrats. I don't think there's anything to write home about there. But if you take one from the D-backs over the weekend, that is going to be a very good feather in the cap. D-backs had turned things around as well, but did just lose a series at home to Tampa Bay.
Game of the night in MLB about to start. I would say within 3 minutes. Pirates at Dodgers. Paul Skeens against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Circa just moved up from 205 to 215. Price on the Dodgers. DraftKings all the way up to minus 230 on the Dodgers. Again, Yamamoto, 29 innings, 18 hits, 7 walks, 38 Ks, 11.8 Ks per 9, whip of 0.86, ERA 0.93. Dodgers have lost 3 of 4, including 2 one-run games in Chicago. I mean, it's tempting to bet Paul Skeens at this big price, but the Pittsburgh offense is just not going to probably get much done tonight. Yeah,
that would be the thought. So coming up here in a couple of minutes, my thought, I'm going to get these exact numbers because the problem is out here, too, we don't really have a ton in terms of first fives. There's a lot of different derivative markets when you talk about first fives, team totals that are available at different shops, but looking at a team total in the first 5, or like you mentioned, plus 1.5, but trying to whittle it down so that you're just asking Paul Skeens to pitch well as opposed to asking for run support from his lineup.
Or, yeah, you don't want to bet the full 9 with the Pirates necessarily. You want to bet on Skeens here, right?
Yeah.
So, you could think about taking plus 1.5 for the game, but again, I would rather take Skeens in some sort of first 5 bet.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at it now, you can go plus the half run at minus 105. Man, that's it that's offered out here in the first 5s. Need a little bit more. You can get a lot in the other markets for that.
Mm-hmm.
Need a little bit more optionality. All right, 3-point shot is up, and it is good. Lakers cut this down to a 1-point game, 15-14, 6:23 left to go in the first quarter. Lakers on a 7-0 run. So we're keeping an eye on that. We're keeping track of what's going on in the NFL draft. Polymarket continues to show support for the Steelers being the team to draft Shedeur Sanders. Top 4 teams in terms of odds. Steelers, Jets at 25%, Jaguars at 25%, Browns at 23%. And I don't know why. The odds are climbing on the Saints to draft Shedeur Sanders. I feel like this might not be the most accurate of markets.
No, because the Saints already drafted a quarterback, and we talked about this before the draft. The Saints did not even attend Sanders workouts and don't like Sanders.
Here's the thing. I'll put it this way. The Colts have a 10% chance, according to the Polymarket, to draft Shedeur. I would actually give them a higher chance of drafting him than the Saints would. At the very least, you can make the argument that the Colts might not feel comfortable with their quarterback position, and using a third-round pick on a quarterback that could sit is not the same as using a high-end pick, and maybe you try that.
These teams, too, like the Saints, are going to look at Kyle McCord, or they're going to look at Quinn Ewers, not at Shedeur Sanders.
My guy, Quinn.
Arizona Cardinals picking now. Number 78, Jordan Birch edge rusher from Oregon. Pretty solid pick there by Arizona. Got to have Cam Scatterbo, running back from Arizona State, go off the board at some point. Some of these guys I've seen picked, I can't believe are going before Scatterbo.
Yeah, that's the other thing you're sweating out, right? You got under 120.5.
Yeah, that opened 138.5, but God, I thought for sure he'd be a third-round pick. We're early in the third round, but man. Kyle Brandt of NFL Network, actually, I watched Kyle Brandt today. He said, quote, "My favorite player in this draft, Cam Scatterbo, running back from Arizona State. I was expecting him to be a third-round pick tonight." You talk about value with running back in the third round.
Yeah. Or fourth.
Hopefully early fourth if he slips.
So earlier today, the Browns drafted Harold Fannin Jr., tight end out of Bowling Green.
Love
You were a
the
big
pick.
fan of that.
Yep.
I wanted to read this quote to you from a scout, according to Jordan Schultz. Quote, "He's the closest thing to Antonio Gates I've seen. He's not as big, but just as deceptive as a route runner. Slippery. Once he gets the ball, I love him." End quote.
But he slipped to the Browns.
Yep.
And what pick was Fannin? Second round?
Yeah.
That was really, really good. Was it early third or second
Let me
round?
double check here. I'll double check right now. Trying to find, there's a lot of information. We're trying to get to the bottom of everything right now.
I was skeptical about the Browns making the most of their picks. So far, a very good draft for Cleveland.
Yep. All right, we'll answer that. We'll answer more. And come on, Indiana. Down by 10, catching 5. Get back inside of the number. 8:19 left to go in the fourth. Do the Pacers have it in them in the start of the Dodgers-Pirates showdown in SoCal?
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We are underway out in Southern California. Dodgers and Pirates could be our game of the night. And Yamamoto gives up a leadoff double and then a fly out to center, but the runner will not advance. So we have a one out, top of the first, runner on second for the Pirates, 12 pitches in.
That'd be big if the Pirates could stake Paul Skeens to a lead. But again, like you said, leadoff double and a fly out. Let me give you this quote from Mel Kiper. Just before the second round started tonight, quote, "The guy I'm going to be watching all night is obviously Shedeur Sanders. I'm not going to talk about it all night. Joe Montana dropped to the third round. If Shedeur gets into the third round, it's nonsensical. It's ridiculous." Well, here we are, pick number 81, and Shedeur Sanders not off the board. The Bengals go elsewhere. Titans at pick 82, and JVT, look who's on deck. Steelers at number 83. Is this going to be the moment for Shedeur Sanders?
No idea. Kevin Winston Jr., the selection for the Tennessee Titans. So now we all wait to see if this will be the moment it finally ends. I'd probably say yes, right?
What's that?
You'd probably say yes, right? Steelers up to a 30% chance over on Paulie Murphy.
I think so. If you talked about him at the number 21 spot, how do you not pick him at 83?
Yeah.
All right, anyway, last April after the draft, DraftKings put up an odds board for the number one pick in this draft. Shedeur Sanders, the favorite at even money.
Yeah.
Number 2 choice, Quinn Ewers at 3-1. Co-favorite, co-second choice with your guy, Carson Beck at 3-1.
Not wrong. You never know. He just, decided to stay.
Should mention all three of those. Not drafted tonight.
Yeah. Or yesterday.
Sanders, Beck, Ewers. Fourth choice, Drew Aller. Fifth choice, Jalen Milroe, still available. Sixth choice, Jackson Dart, 12-1, was a first-round pick. Cameron Ward was 15-1. Travis Hunter was 22-1, and Abdul Carter 30-1.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Gabriel was 60-1. That's a quarterback who's probably going to go, seventh round? Quarterback from
Oh,
Oregon?
yeah.
Did you hear Tony Dungy said he thought that should be the Steelers' pick?
The pick is in for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Is it?
And the long wait is over. Iowa running back Caleb Johnson has finally been drafted.
Are you serious?
Yep.
It's not Sanders?
Not Sanders. According to Dale Lally, the Steelers select Iowa running back Caleb Johnson.
That's crazy. I knew when you said the long wait is over, it was not going to be Sanders.
So
Caleb Johnson, he's a Pittsburgh Steeler type of player.
Sure.
Yeah. Tough running back. Can't argue with that pick, but again, no quarterback.
All right, so the next few choices here.
Man.
What's that?
I wanted that 550 plus 550.
You still got time. You still got time.
Is he going to slip to the fourth round now?
So the rest of this round drafts out. Bucks, Patriots, Chargers, Packers, Jaguars. Our guy with the 120 to 1 ticket, coming up at 88. But then it's Texans, Rams, Ravens, Seahawks, 92.
I need him to go to the Steelers. So
I know you do, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of where he could end up. Here's where you could go. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
The back end of the fourth round, the 98th and 99th selections both belong to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay.
So I don't know if those will happen by the time we get off the air tonight.
No, that's not going to happen.
I mean, these are going pretty quick, but those are, 16 picks away.
Yeah, we're 40 minutes away. It's like 5 minutes per pick right now.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting the news ahead of time, but I don't think that'll be the case. But maybe that's where it goes. Maybe that's where it happens.
Could happen to the Raiders. That was what did we say when we opened the show? Raiders were minus 250 to draft Sanders.
Yeah.
Again, Jalen Milroe still out there too.
Yep.
I'm telling you, I think part of the reason Sanders is slipping, he was bad, really bad in that bowl game, that blowout loss to BYU.
So there's that thought.
Some of the interviews apparently were not very impressive, right?
The interviews weren't very impressive. There's
Didn't
a thought
work out.
that he didn't work out at the NFL Combine. That was potentially why Mike Florio has now written the think piece that maybe he should consider going back to college.
He had his number retired. You can't go
but
back.
not play for Colorado. You can't do that either. And I would say I will be very clear on this. I'm willing to put my pride on the line, my reputation. I actually think Shador's going to be good. I thought he had a chance of being a good quarterback. He still can be, no matter where he's drafted. He can still win a job and do all of that. But I still think you're actually, at this point, you're getting a pretty solid value pick. But I do wonder what the deal is. I don't know how you really feel about him. I think he is better than where he is being drafted right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If the Raiders took him in this round, I would actually like that pick for the Raiders. At this point in the draft, with Sanders there, a guy that not too long ago we thought was going to be a top 5, top 10 pick. If the Raiders grabbed him in the 90s, I would like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not too far away. We're about 15 picks away from the Raiders being on the clock here with a couple picks in the third round.
I think you're getting a pretty solid value pick, whoever is grabbing him at this point right now. I mean, who knows, though? But I will say, too, look, going back to what I like to talk about every single draft, we have these conversations about these guys all the time. Tyler Shuck could go in the first round. Shador Sanders, a first-round pick. Jackson Dart.
40th overall pick.
Yep. 2.5, way under. Not way under, just solidly under because it wasn't really a threat. The next quarterback went with the 40th pick, like you mentioned, and then we still haven't had another quarterback come off the board. But next year might be dangerous because if Arch Manning comes out, it might be pretty good.
It could be a pretty good quarterback class next year. So I was watching a little bit of a Boomer Esiason show on CBS Sportsnet network, and there were Giants fans calling in mixed opinions on whether or not they liked the Jackson Dart pick at number 25. I know Joe Ceraulo came on this network last night after us. I love the Jackson Dart pick for the Giants, number 25. Joe hates it. I'm not sure how many games he's watched Dart play at Ole Miss, but I said back in November I thought he was going to be the highest rising quarterback in this draft.
I think Joe's a Tommy Cutlets guy. That's what he wants.
Tommy DeVito?
Yeah.
I like Dart a lot. I think he's going to prove to be the best quarterback out of this draft. I don't dislike Sanders that much either, but I can understand why he's slipping. Hey, Luke, do we have the Todd McShay clip on okay, Todd McShay's talking about Jackson Dart. And after breaking down all the tape, McShay came away very impressed with Dart as a quarterback prospect.
You know what tape I watched? I watched him do his pre-snap call with John Gruden. Did you see that?
Clap, yeah. That was kind of a dumb tape. But anyway.
What do you mean? Don't be.
It was pointless.
Don't. Yeah, exactly. Your guy's
That's why
got a
it was
flaw.
dumb. It was pointless.
He's never done a snap count before. It's a big flaw.
Hey, he can do a snap count. Anyway.
Can you?
How many people who are commenting on these quarterbacks have actually watched these guys at length in college football games? Not really. Very few. Todd McShay did the work. He went through 160 snaps of Jackson Dart under pressure at Ole Miss, and here's what McShay said when he came away from that film session.
They move up, and they go get their guy in Jackson Dart. Let's talk Jackson Dart. I fell in love with Dart when I watched the 161 clip reel of versus pressure. You can break it down all different places. I've told you about it. And I always finish the quarterbacks after I'm done with everyone's reports. I go back. The last thing I do on the quarterbacks is I watch versus pressure. Shedeur Sanders had like 221 snaps. Everybody else had about 140 to 180. Okay. Jackson Dart's was 161. I'll never forget that number because when I watched it, you could have set it to music, and it was a thing of absolute beauty. And what I said when I came out of that is, I know he's not as big, he doesn't have as big an arm, but I promise you that Jackson Dart showed me so many things in that pressure reel that reminded me of what makes Josh Allen special. I said it on this show. And now all of a sudden, the guy who helped develop Josh Allen is working with Jackson Dart, and I love that.
There you go. Brian Dable helped develop Josh Allen into the quarterback he is. Now he's got Jackson Dart. I love the pick for the Giants, and so does Todd McShay. All right, Chiefs on the clock here. Pick number 85 of the third round. JVT, Pacers getting blown out now, down 20.
2-1, so this is going to be a 2-1 series going into Game 4. Pacers not going to cover the game. Did get in the first quarter in the first half, but let go of the rope in the second half thanks to Gary Trent Jr. Wanted to mention this up on VSiN, or excuse me, on X, if you want to get involved. Palm readers, Mike Palm. Like the palm readers, not actually Mike Palm. Could be him, though. You guys may be underestimating the Sanders circus coming to town. Nobody wants to deal with the nonsense. Several of these young coaches or coaches on the hot seat will get eaten alive. I don't think that's the case. I think
Mike Tomlin's not a young coach.
Yeah, and I also think we underestimate how big of a machine the NFL is. Guys like that won't go into locker rooms like that and make enough noise, especially when you're falling to the third round.
Wouldn't think so.
I don't think you're going to have as much noise and pull to make said noise if that was the case. And like you said,
I don't like the baggage. I don't like all the drama either, but I don't think that at this point in the third round, a guy like Mike Tomlin's not going to be deterred by that.
Well, I want to finish on that point, but really quick, I do want to tell our audience about ProfitX, which is offering the best odds all baseball season long. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states, the first of its kind in the U.S. You will be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans rather than against sports books. Exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download ProfitX today. Use the code VSiN. Earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
35-28, 10:35 left to go in the second, and the Minnesota Timberwolves currently lead the Los Angeles Lakers at home in Game 3 of this Western Conference first-round series. Some notable statistics popping out of the box score so far. A poor shooting night for both teams. I shouldn't say both teams. For Minnesota from beyond the arc, 3 of 10. Lakers just starting off 4 of 11, so pretty average from deep and shooting 50% from the floor. Big difference, though, is 5 turnovers for the Lakers, making a small difference there. But right now, at least in terms of shooting percentage from the floor, both teams at 50%.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention here, Luka Doncic 0 for 3 from 3 so far, 1 for 6 from the floor, but Austin Reeves has hit 2 threes. I think he's like the unsung hero of the Lakers.
Sure.
All the media hype about LeBron and Luka, Austin Reeves shows up almost every night.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty consistent for the most part, and has been. You would think that in a trade that involved a very good superstar in Luka Doncic, maybe you get a good young piece back, like Austin Reeves. I think he'd look pretty good in a Mavericks uniform, considering what that roster looks like right now. But you can't go back and get that done, can you?
Nico Harrison?
Yeah. Can't go back and get that.
I mean, if you're going to give up a guy like Luka, don't you have to push for somebody who your fans can embrace, somebody a young guard who could be with you for a long time like Austin Reeves?
Yeah. We are official in Milwaukee. That game all over, 117-101. Bucks are going to win, or Bucks win. They cover. Game stays under the total, and also a relatively bad beat. Bucks team total misses by the hook. Scored only 2 points in the last 2 minutes and 25 seconds. So tough beat there.
Well, you had the Pacers first half.
Yep.
They're up 10 at halftime. You played them in the contest, I think, for the full
5,
game.
Yep. By the way,
they get blown out for the game. Austin Reeves on cue. 3-ball, 35-33 T-Wolves. Lakers have a 7-0 run going over the last 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. All right. With that, we continue to monitor in the National Football League, the draft. We were talking about just the overall noise. The palm readers are brought up, like what Shedeur is and everything like that. Actually, I don't know if there is that much baggage. He's just Shedeur Sanders. He's an outspoken guy. He's very popular. But we have seen Mike Tomlin deal with worse.
Antonio Brown?
Much worse.
Antonio Brown?
So I don't think that's a problem for a team like the Steelers. I just think it's and we should also note this. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Steelers quarterback, right? I mean, this draft strategy tells us. We have to assume that, whatever the hell that is, seriously, whatever the hell is going on there, we have to assume that the Steelers believe he's going to be in a uniform. Because I don't think you're going to war with a team that made the playoffs. I don't think you're going into the season with your current quarterback depth chart. I think you feel and by the way, a team that also acquired DK Metcalf, I don't think you're going into the season with this quarterback depth chart. You got to feel confident that he's going to be a Steeler.
Probably going to be Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, and then the Steelers are going to draft a quarterback at some point, right?
Maybe that's part of the deal.
I think they will.
No, I mean, maybe Aaron Rodgers is sitting back and waiting to see. He told them, I don't want you to draft a quarterback. They couldn't officially agree to it, and so now he's sitting back and waiting to see whether or not he has to.
I don't know. At this point, I would not give in to any Aaron Rodgers demands. So you guy's 40 years old. He doesn't have much left.
Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson are the two quarterbacks on the Steelers' depth chart right now. They're going to add another quarterback at some point.
Or two.
Yeah, right. Either way, they're going to get more bodies in that room, and you have to assume that it is a heavy favorite that he is one of them.
I think so.
He does have a little leverage in this situation. I mean, the Steelers have painted themselves into a corner because they just don't have anybody on the roster.
By the way, the Packers just took another wide receiver, Savion Williams from TCU.
Here we go.
Talk about a loaded wide receiver depth chart. Green Bay's got it.
This is what you do, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
You got to help out your young quarterback, Jordan Love, who's off a disappointing season. The Packers really loading up at the wide receiver spot. Jaguars, our guys got Jaguars 120-1 to take Shedeur Sanders. Here's your shot. Pick number 88, third round. Will the Jags go quarterback? The pick is in. Here we go.
Let's wait. Okay, I can't wait to see it if that's going to be it. I hope our guy gets it. I do.
I do too.
What was I going to say? Oh, for Green Bay, one of the things that we saw stuck out last year when they were on the field was they did not play well when trailing. They were great when they took the lead because they were such a dominant running team.
There it is. Caleb Ransaw, quarterback from Tulane.
As we expected.
Okay.
So to get a little bit more explosiveness, the ability to actually play from behind, to add wide receivers. We know about Christian Watson and, the health issues that constantly, I think he's torn ACL. Am I remembering that correctly?
Who?
Wide receiver for the Packers.
Oh, no. Yeah, ACL.
Yeah, ACL. Yeah, right, okay.
He's going to be out probably the first half of the season.
So you have that with the fact that they were a team that couldn't play from behind. You need to add to the explosiveness here. So
Matthew Golden, Packers did it.
Oh, but you know what's funny? Mm-hmm. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Ian Rappaport, NFL draft
Aaron
coverage.
Rodgers?
No. Oh. Among the things Art Rooney. Wait, did you say Aaron Rodgers? I'm sorry. I thought you said
speak of the devil.
Yeah,
I thought you had Aaron Rodgers.
No, I did. I'm wrong. I was just barely listening to you. Among the things Art Rooney told Steelers Nation Radio today, worth noting that he said on Aaron Rodgers, quote, he does want to come here, so I do think we may get word soon. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Steeler. So if that's the case, you're looking elsewhere. Right now, the Jets and the Jaguars, I think I might be right about this Jets thing. I mean, at some point, I think you're probably going to add young quarterback. Right now, market would say Jets, Jags, Browns, your top three choices with the Jets and the Jaguars as your 25% chance favorites. He's not going to be a Steeler.
You don't think so?
I don't mean to deliver the bad news to you. But if you're going to...
How about the Browns?
Sure.
Seriously, the Browns have had a really good draft. Now, at this point, you got to think they're talking quarterbacks at least with all the picks they've got. Yep. LeBron hits a pull-up three on the break. LeBron's off to a hot start tonight, 16.7 of 9 from the floor, 39-37. Lakers on top of the T-Wolves here midway through the second.
Our other update, it's our fringe game of the night. Top of the second, we talked about don't trust the Pirates to give Paul Skeens run support. Well, he got an outrun of support. Pirates played it a run in the first inning. So Yamamoto dealing with the deficit, down 1-0, top of the second right now, and puts another runner on. So that is two straight. Yeah, I was going to say that is 2 straight innings in which he has allowed the leadoff hitter on. So Yamamoto not on his game right now, but he got out of the first with minimal damage. We'll see if he can do it here.
Sometimes you see that with Yamamoto. He's a slow starter. He has some issues in the first inning. I've seen that before. If you bet the Pirates first 5, you got to feel pretty good about the way this game has started. 1-0 lead and a leadoff runner on in the second inning.
Yep, and it was Valdez who singled to right and drove in O'Neill Cruz. Cruz actually walked. So that was a walk right here too, right? So that was a...
Forget about the Jaguars bet. Jaguars just took Wyatt Millum, guard from West Virginia, with the 89th pick.
Yep. So some early command issues for Yamamoto, and the Jags go guard. Man, I was really hoping our guy could get it. Well, it's still there. Again, all these bets are still live. If you bet if there was any markets on Jalen Moreau, what team will draft him, you're still alive because nothing's happened yet.
Got that at Browns plus 230.
You got that?
Yep.
Okay. See, you can get that.
Still good.
I believe in you.
Well, I believe in the Browns. The way they're drafting tonight.
Oh.
There's so much talk about Jalen Milroe being the best running quarterback we've ever seen. Better than Lamar Jackson, you know.
I want to note that we could have some very impactful baseball news that just came down a couple of minutes ago.
What happened?
Logan Gilbert got the start today for the Seattle Mariners. He did just leave the game with right forearm tightness. Hey, that's impactful. That matters. Matters for my fantasy.
I'm not going to lose any sleep over it tonight.
We talk about that's an impactful arm for a potential contender in Major League Baseball.
Logan Gilbert was a $3 favorite tonight.
Mm-hmm. See?
1-0 lead in the fifth.
You're getting into this now. Right?
Was he on your fantasy team? That's why you care?
No. Well, yes, but that is an impactful arm.
So you do this new show with Stormy. It's going to be, I heard it's going to be the Stormy Show with JVT. That's what it's going to be called?
Is that how they're billing it?
I think so. It's kind of like
is it going to be a Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidlin dynamic?
Where they don't even mention your name?
Where Kelly doesn't exist? It's going to be the same thing?
It's just a Gil show. Who's Kelly? What's he do?
You're right.
He's not mentioned. So it's just the Stormy Show.
Yeah.
And not even going to mention
not
JVT.
No.
Anyway, are you going to talk a lot of fantasy baseball on that show?
I mean, baseball. Not fantasy baseball.
So you start that
you're
show.
poo-pooing this. This is important.
It's kind of like that Mina Kimes with Lenny. That's the name of her dog, right?
Correct.
The Mina Kimes show with Lenny. This is going to be the Stormy Show with JVT.
I'm the dog in this metaphor. Absolutely. That is absolutely the case. First bet, something different. If you're betting on sports, why not try the races? First Bet lets you wager on hundreds of horse races every day from top tracks across the U.S. and around the world. Sign up at firstbet.com, #1stbet.com. Promo code is VSiN200. Claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days up to $200. Head to firstbet.com today. All eyes will be on the third round, where the Raiders do have back-to-back picks. We'll keep our eye on that. Also watching is Yamamoto has allowed 2 to reach now. So runners on first and second with just 1 out and a 1-2 count right now to O'Neill Cruz, who already scored today. That's going to be a good one. Can't wait to see what Paul Skeens does with a little bit of support. Wrap it up when we come back here on VSiN PrimeTime.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
LeBron James with 14 points in the second quarter and 20 points for the game so far. He is trying to bring the Lakers back here. It's a tied series, but still 41-45, 45-41. 4:35 left to go in the second quarter. Big showing from the King.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't bet the T-Wolves tonight. Obviously, they can come back and cover this number and win the game tonight, but Lakers did bring it tonight, it looks, right?
Yep.
LeBron definitely brought it. 20 points. He's got 20 of the Lakers' 45 with 4.5 minutes to go in the second.
I don't know if you know this, but there are 4 quarters in basketball.
You know
and
that?
we did see a 10-point lead end up in a 16-point loss for a team tonight, and that would be the Indiana Pacers.
But the Bucks were in a 2-0 hole at home,
correct.
Backs against the wall, and they played like it in the second half tonight.
Correct. All correct points. Luka Doncic at the free throw line trying to get his 5th point of the evening with a free throw and he will. 46-41, 4:35 left to go in the second quarter. We should note, before we get out of here, Matt Youmans, this is my last show with you.
Well, for a while, who knows?
I know, right now, yeah.
We've done a lot of shows over the last 8 years and 2 months. We've a lot of different shows.
Yes. But for those who missed it, I will be moving over to Money Moves in the morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast, I'll be part of your lunchtime drive.
So it's going to be 9 to 11 a.m.? Is that right?
So far, yes, 9 to 11.
It's only 2 hours? So you're cutting your workload in half?
For now. Okay. Also, but I think the good thing is more articles up on the website as part of being out there. So you can go to VSiN.com. But have enjoyed the time on Primetime. Always like doing the show with you guys. And I will be with Stormy starting on Monday. So adjust your programming schedules accordingly to avoid me. Go to VSiN.com and check all of it out right there.
Deal. You and Stormy. The Stormy Show with JVT.
That is correct. It will be billed as such. And I don't think I will get my picture on the VSiN Watch app.
Don't hold your breath.
All right, we're watching this. Let's really quickly. Oh, here it is.
Jalen Milroe to the Seahawks.
The Seahawks with the 92nd pick. We have a quarterback, and it is Jalen Milroe. Wow.
That's not going to be a prop winner, but I got to tell you, I like the pick for the Seahawks.
I mean, and this was
late in the third round, developmental quarterback. And Tom Pelissero yesterday, NFL Network, he reported many scouts say Jalen Milroe is the best running quarterback prospect ever, better than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
He goes late in the third round. I think this is a point where he's starting to see value with these quarterbacks. And now that Milroe's off the board, is there a better chance that Sanders is going to go off the board? Scott Seidenberg's probably going to be on the air.
Yeah.
Well, he is going to be on the air when the Raiders pick, 98 and 99?
Yes, they have 2 consecutive picks coming up here, I believe.
Decent chance he's going to see Sanders picked by the Raiders late in the third round here.
Yep. All right, yeah, coming up, 98, 99 Raiders. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 picks from now, the Raiders will be on the clock.
Not too long ago, JVT, there was talk that the Raiders were hoping Shedeur Sanders would slip to them at number 6 overall in the draft. And now they're going to be at 98, 99. He's going to be on the board, it appears.
So this is also one of those, we called them like the sneaky teams, like the sneaky quarterback teams that could potentially go and grab a team. Like
Seahawks.
The Seahawks had just signed Sam Darnold, but it made sense that they were going to go and grab a guy that could be the dude going forward once you get done with Sam Darnold. Just develop him, see what he's at. I like the pick, man. Like I think Jalen Milroe can actually be. There's a good skill set there. You let him sit there. You let him develop. You let him learn behind Darnold, who I think can probably pass some good stuff on there. And in a few years, maybe you do have a guy that comes in and uses the athleticism, takes the league by storm, and you have a dude that's going to be your starter for many, many years to come. I like the pick, especially when you're talking about 92nd overall.
You use the term, same one I've used. He's a freak athlete.
Yep.
And even if he's not ready to play quarterback, there might be a way you can use him in the offense this year.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good there.
Late third round, you cannot criticize a team for picking a quarterback prospect like Jalen Milroe.
No. So 4 quarterbacks off the board. None of them Shedeur Sanders so far. Again, coming up, Raiders have back-to-back. I would think he goes in one of those 2.
I think the Raiders are going to take him. Late third round.
Now, I still don't love the Raiders draft up to this point.
I don't either.
And if you're going to go, you did eventually get a corner, but running back, wide receiver, corner, quarterback, but you got 2/3. Smoke him if you got him. Use one of them on Shedeur. You need a young quarterback. Geno Smith's not going to be there for too long. He's got a deal that you can get out of relatively early over the span of it. And if he's not exactly what you think, then there you go.
It actually makes a lot of sense at this point because you got Geno Smith, who's a veteran who could tutor the young quarterback, kind of be the teacher, the mentor. And what else the Raiders have? Aiden O'Connell, right?
Mm-hmm. When was the last time the Seahawks drafted a quarterback in the third round?
I don't know.
That's an easy answer, actually.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, 2012.
Remember how crazy his wife was going at the time?
I think it was his girlfriend or whatever, but yes. Not the same. Ciara is now the choice there. I do remember, though. That is an image in draft history that will live in infamy forever. Thought you got the bag. I mean, in all fairness, if my wife got drafted into something where I thought we were going to make millions, I'd probably make the same face.
You know what? I was going to bring this up. Last night, did you see Malachi Starks when he came out? He got drafted by the Ravens.
Okay.
I I think I got that mock draft pick right. Did you see the hug between Roger Goodell and Malachi Starks?
No.
I'm going to guess that you have never hugged your wife like Goodell and Starks hugged last night on the stage. It was ridiculous. I'm not sure I've seen two guys hug like that.
Okay.
It was almost like 2 minutes. Bear hug, tight embrace, face to face. I was going to ask, have you ever hugged your wife like that?
I have.
That's one of the mysteries of life to me. Why these guys come out and they bear hug Roger Goodell like they're lifelong friends? What the hell is going on with that?
I mean, I think he's just happy. It's a very big achievement. I don't think there's.
Why would anybody want to hug Roger Goodell like that for 2 minutes?
I mean, you might if you were drafted.
Roger. Huh?
You might if you were
No, I
drafted.
wouldn't. There's no way.
I like how angry you get. No, I wouldn't.
There's no chance. I don't get these hugs.
Good point made here, too. That third-round pick that the Seattle Seahawks used to select Jalen Moreau, the pick they got from the Raiders for Geno Smith.
Is that right?
Yep. So they use the pick they get in the Geno Smith trade to go and get potentially their quarterback of the future.
I like it for the Seahawks.
I do too. And Jalen Moreau probably would have hugged Roger Goodell with the same intensity. As you would have too. I believe that if you were drafted into the NBA, you would have given
David Stern.
You would have given David Stern a big old hug.
That's not the case. Browns pick at 94. So I thought the Browns might take Milroe at number 94. The Seahawks beat him to it.
Yeah, I mean, this could be it, too.
Could this be Sanders?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, this is where you get the positional runs every once in a while where, okay, like...
that quarterback's off the board. We better grab a quarterback.
Yeah, we might as well go get our guy. Will we get a Nikola Jokic situation? Will they do a commercial pick?
During Taco Bell commercial?
Yeah, will Shedeur Sanders be drafted during a commercial? I don't
great.
think so. I think the NFL is too big. I think they would make sure, especially if it's him. I don't think they would allow that to happen. Really quick, while we wait for this pick officially, go to VSiN.com and check out the NBA Playoff Challenge. It is underway. 20 picks in the first round. Bunch of handicappers competing for a cash prize. Picks up every single day, revealed an hour before the games. VSiN.com/subscribe to get access. If you're a pro subscriber, you get access to that and everything else for just $59. Access through August 1st. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe. Get started today and check out the NBA Playoff Challenge.
What's your record right now in this NBA contest?
8-5 now.
8-5?
Yeah.
You had one loser tonight?
Yes, that was the only pick for tonight, with the Pacers blowing that one. Very good start. But
Steve Fezzik's first place? Is that the deal?
Yes, I believe he has 11 points, if I remember correctly. Because actually, no, he might have 12 now. Because I think a lot of people were on the Bucks -5. I don't remember who exactly was, but there were quite a few handicappers in the contest on the Bucks -5. Shedeur Sanders has tweeted, "Thank you, God, for everything." So maybe that means something.
Browns?
Yeah.
I thought Milroe to the Browns would be the pick at 94. Maybe it's Sanders to the Browns. Scott Seidenberg's going to have a lot to say about that when he comes on the air for the next 3 hours, huh?
You don't have anything, right?
No, I had, Sanders to the Steelers, Milroe to the Browns.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like it may not work out that way.
Holy smokes. You're not going to believe this. I'm not kidding. You're not going to believe this pick.
So it's not
Don't
Sanders.
look. You're not going to believe this pick.
It's not Sanders.
Man, we got to get this in the next 55 seconds. I'm just going to tell you.
Wait, it's Quinn Ewers.
With the 94th selection,
Okay.
the Cleveland Browns select their quarterback of the future, Dillon Gabriel.
Get out of here.
Dillon Gabriel.
The guy's like 5'11".
He's also like 100.
Huh?
He's played 1 million games in college. Dillon Gabriel is the selection here for the Cleveland Browns. This is getting a little nuts.
I think the Raiders will take Sanders.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. The run on quarterbacks is happening. It's very good value in terms of where he was projected to potentially be. That's insanity. Dillon Gabriel.
I thought he would be a 6th or 7th round pick.
Wow.
Okay.
Matt, it's been fun.
All right. Have fun on the Stormy and JVT show.
I'll see you back here in a year.
Probably. All right, see ya.
Scott Seidenberg coming up next.